When I was 19, I was looking for a room to rent in the city I was moving to for college. It was about an hour away from my family. I wasn't having much luck, and my mom started to help me look for a place. She found an ad on Craigslist for a room for $300 in a house, everything included. The homeowner was a man, and he rented the additional room upstairs to other women while he lived in the finished basement. The ad stated he rarely ever saw the other roommates because he had a kitchen and his own entrance downstairs, and that he preferred women because he had issues with male roommates in the past, partying and causing damage. We decided to take a look since it was the cheapest that we could find in the area. My mom and I went to the house to view it. Decent house, decent neighborhood. He opened the door and was very welcoming. He was middle-aged, and the kitchen and living room were furnished nicely and clean. My mom was to talk and get to know people, so they were engaged in conversation while I stood there quietly and observed the place. He then said he would show me my room. We head towards the staircase to go up, as I thought, since he said on the phone my room was upstairs with other roommates. But he opens another door and we follow. He takes us down to the basement and opens the door to a very small room. No closet and no windows. He proceeds to say that this is my room and I'll be sharing the bathroom in the hallway with him, and his bedroom did not have a door on it. I was definitely thinking, absolutely not. This is weird, but they were so deep in conversation that I couldn't interject. He then leads us up the stairs and shows us the other rooms, whose doors were open, and says they are currently rented. He then starts telling us elaborate stories about the other women, not very nice stories, describing drinking problems. My mom was listening intently, but I took the time to investigate further. I looked in all 3 rooms and the bathrooms. There was furniture, but not a single item in there that looked like it belonged to a woman. No clothes or anything. Only men's clothes in one of the closets. He had no problem with me creeping around his tenants' rooms without their permission. I then heard him tell my mom that he has some of his stuff in their closets, but they don't mind, and I'm just like, why the hell would a tenant pay you for you to use their space as storage? I was feeling really uncomfortable and started moving them back downstairs as they talked. My mom had mentioned when we arrived that she and my dad were going on vacation the next week, but I couldn't go because I had to work. He brought it up again and said that I should come by the next week and have dinner with him and the roomies to see if we would all get along. I said sure, and we left. As soon as we got in the car, I told my mom I would definitely not be living there. She was dumbfounded. I had to explain to her that not only did he lie about the room I would be in, and that I was not supposed to be in the basement with him and share a bathroom with him. And he didn't even have a damn door, but also, did she not notice how no one else even lived there? She still didn't get it and thought I was just being paranoid and thought he was nice and it was a cheap deal. I had to explain it to my stepdad and get him to tell her by no means would I be living there. I tried to report the post, but by the time we got home that day, he had removed it. I think he planned on murdering me at dinner or abducting me and holding me hostage in that basement room that had no way to escape. I hope that guy hits a tree with his car one day. This happened a few years ago. I was going through a difficult time, so I was looking for a new place to live without big commitments until I figured life out. I met this guy through a Craigslist posting. He said he had an apartment and was looking for a roommate. I got his name and number, called him, set up a meeting at a public place for a meet and greet. Everything went seemingly fine and he agreed to show me the place. He seemed super nice and helpful. He was easy to get along with. It was neat and low maintenance. It didn't bother me that he was a guy. We agreed on no drugs, no parties, and no craziness terms. We agreed on monthly payments and I moved in a few weeks later. So it was after 2 weeks. One day, he comes in early from work and has this very upset voice and claims that we need to talk. He says that I've been acting inappropriately by having my boyfriend stop by on occasion. Not even stay or spend the night or anything like that. To see me for like 10 minutes every now and then. I began questioning him and he just said that made him feel uncomfortable because everyone at the apartment complex thought I was his romantic partner. I was so furious and I couldn't believe it. It then escalated to a point where he said that the entire time he had known me, which is like 2 weeks of very minimal interaction, plus the fact that I worked the night shift, so he was by himself most of the time when he was home. He was convinced that, I believe you are possessed. I can see it in your eyes. I knew at this point that the shit had totally hit the fan and that I needed to get as far away from this weirdo as I could. He acted all calm, then saying that I could take my time looking for a new place and that our arrangement would not work. So I told my boyfriend what had happened. I found an apartment I could move into and I had planned to do it the very next day. I told the insane roommate. The next day of my moving out comes and I walk into the apartment to get my stuff. There is this wooden cross above my room's doorframe with this cliche Jesus Christ on it, which was pretty offensive since I am a Christian and this lunatic had decided that I'm possessed. I walk into my room and there are these creepy candles all lit. I packed up all my belongings and left. He sent a message to me later with, of course, something that had to do with God and how he was hoping I would face my sins in darkness. I blocked this creep's number after that. I do trust people a lot less and would never have a roommate, and this was the first time ever in my life that I had one. Yeah, for 2 weeks. This happened in Boston in 2013. I, now 30 female, 23 at the time, was looking for an apartment with a roommate, same age. We had a pretty tight budget, so rather than using a realtor, we replied to ads on Craigslist. It wasn't my first time using Craigslist for this, and having come across my fair share of creeps, I made it a point to never go to tours alone, and to make sure someone who wasn't coming with me knew the address of where I was touring. So we scheduled an appointment to meet with someone to view a 1-bedroom that was open in a 3-bedroom house in Dorchester. We got there, got inside the front door, and he told us to wait in the foyer. I like to think I have pretty good intuition, and the place immediately felt very creepy. He said that the open bedroom is in the guest house in the backyard, but it looked more like a garage. Then he said that his neighbor has been asking to move in the open room, and he doesn't want her to know that he's letting other people tour it. So when we go to the backyard to see the guest room, we should try to walk as quickly as possible so she doesn't notice in the event she was looking outside. All the red flags are going off. Then he told us he'd go back there first and tell us when it's okay to head over. He leaves. A minute or two goes by and through a window we can see a few other guys that we didn't see before head to the garage. More red flags. I and my roommate look at each other and, without even having to say a word, immediately leave the foyer and walk to our car. We get in the car, lock the doors, and drive away as quickly as we can. About 5 minutes later, he calls us and asks us why we left. He sounded really upset. Told us we wasted his time, blah blah blah. I know in my gut that he did not have good intentions, and to this day I wonder what would have happened if we went to the tour in the garage. I had just gotten out of high school when I was cleaning up my closet. I decided to post an ad on Craigslist. The title, Teen Girl Clothes for Sale. I received a few creepy messages, but nothing too scary. Plus, I needed the money, so I waited a few days for a serious buyer. That's when Annie emails me. Her message said something along the lines of, "Hey, can you meet in the Walmart parking lot? I'd like to buy all of your clothes today." I was so eager to sell them, but I didn't want to go to a parking lot alone, so I asked my mom to come with me, and she agreed. I let Annie know that I can meet anytime between 5 and 7. That's when she asked for my phone number and I gave it to her. Back then, I gave my number to anyone who asked. Don't do that. So I'm texting this girl trying to arrange a time to meet when she tells me that she has to wait for her mom to get home from work so she can drive her to Walmart. I'm immediately relieved because I'm thinking, okay, great, she's bringing her mom. I'm bringing mine and we're meeting in a public place. All is good. We agreed to meet up at 6:30 at the far right side of the parking lot. I was excited to get rid of all these clothes and get some money too. We head to the side of the Walmart and wait. I text her and let her know that we were there waiting, and the first red flag to leave should have been her reply. "Are you alone? What kind of car are you driving?" I tell her, and I also let her know I'm with my mom. No response. At this point, it's getting dark, and I'm looking around the parking lot to see if I can find her. That's when I spotted him. A young man not much older than me in a white Nissan, parked on the aisle before us with his window halfway down, staring directly at us. So I asked my mom, "You see that guy? Why is he staring? How much longer should we wait for Annie?" She casually glances in his direction. Up until this point, we had both been on our phones, not paying too much attention to anyone around us. I have since learned about the term situational awareness. Pay attention to your surroundings, people. I figured she would text me when she was almost there, but she didn't, so I called her. No answer. Then the man in the aisle over rolls his window all the way down, still staring, and starts to blow bubbles. like actual bubbles. I can see him holding the container, gently blowing these bubbles in our direction. He pauses and smiles, but not a warm smile, a sinister one. My mom and I take one look at each other and I start the car. We begin to put the pieces together when we realize that this grown man in front of us is probably Annie. Not only does he have my phone number, but now he knows my car's license plate number. I'm trying not to freak out. He sees us pulling out of the parking spot and he gets out of his car and stares us down while we haul ass out of there. I was praying he wouldn't follow us, and he didn't. I guess seeing me with my mom threw him off. He thought I would be alone, and I'm just so grateful I wasn't. I blocked the number and never got another message from Annie. Needless to say, I didn't end up selling my clothes that day, and I haven't been on Craigslist since. Perhaps I'm overreacting. Something happened today that I want to share and hear thoughts on. A friend forwarded me a Craigslist ad for some dolls with a decent amount of extras. I collect dolls for $50 and an exceptionally good price for how much stuff it was. I emailed and got no response, so I thought, oh well, someone beat me to it. At 9:45 p.m., I got an email saying, sorry, I've been out all day. When can you pick up? Sent from an iPhone. I responded, I could pick up tomorrow. What time and where? Got no response, so I went to bed. The next morning, I was dragging from the time change, so don't check my email until about 10 a.m. There was an email from the person saying, I waited at the chapel school for 10 minutes and you're not here, so I'm leaving. I write back that I'm very sorry. I didn't get any emails last night before going to bed and I just got up. I didn't know I had an appointment. I'm happy to come by your home if that's convenient. It's a 30-minute drive. She emails back that it's fine and she can meet me in an hour at the school. I googled it to find there are 2 chapel schools in that town, so I emailed asking which one it is. Deafening silence. No response. Since I already stood her up once and potentially missed this fantastic deal, I was going to. I jumped in my car and emailed again, saying which school I picked of the 2 listed and that I was on my way. I get there, it's the weekend, so the school is closed. I never got any return email specifying which exact school it was, so I hoped it was the right one. Within 5 minutes, a black SUV pulls up next to me with a pleasant-looking couple in their late 30s and 2 large dogs in the back seat. The guy is driving, but he stays in the driver's seat. The woman gets out holding a large closed box. She says that I can look through it if I want, as I hand her $50. The woman is still talking. We're standing at the right front fender of her SUV. I see the guy get out of the car and walk to the back of his vehicle. I thought maybe he was checking on the dogs from the back hatch, but no. He walks around the rear of the vehicle and comes up behind me at my blind spot. I turn to look at him with a startled look because it's odd. He has a blank-looking half-smile on his face and won't make eye contact. My skin started to crawl and I got that sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. I became acutely aware of there being not another soul around. There was no reason for him to have gotten out of the car. The transaction was over. They had effectively trapped me between the 2 vehicles. I threw the box in the car while keeping an eye on the guy and bolted out of there. If his intent had been to keep his wife safe during the transaction, why did he wait until the money had been exchanged to get out of the car? And why go the long way around the whole car to come up behind me when the shortest distance to his wife was around the front we were closest to? Who goes to the trouble of holding 2 big dogs in an SUV for a 3-minute ride? It appeared they lived close by since she was so willing to make a second appointment when I didn't show to the first. I think the dogs were meant to be a distraction. I honestly wonder if this was a dry run for a kidnapping and they got cold feet when they saw I would not be an easy target. It was seriously creepy. I'm not the type of person who sees danger behind every tree. There was definitely something off about the whole thing.